Hi traders, and welcome to another Steve Miley's What to Watch this week with a recap of last week's significant macroeconomic events and a look into what's coming up week commencing the 18th of November. Well, the main focus last week was on President Trump's speech to the New York Economic Society, but very little came from that really. More importantly really was we saw later in the week Larry Kudlow stating that talks were progressing with China very well and a deal was close, which then sent equity markets, stock markets globally higher into the end of the week. The other spotlight last week was on the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's two testimonies on Wednesday and Thursday to Congress. He was upbeat on the US economy, saying that the labour market was strong and the consumer also doing well, and also indicating that there was no real set path at the moment for interest rates, that they were at appropriate levels. This alongside the Kudlow comments and also from other Fed speakers who were fairly upbeat on the US economy, as all left equity markets, stock markets on a positive footing as we went into the end of the week. European equity markets going near to multi-year highs at the end of last week, which were posted earlier on last week, and the S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Nasdaq all hitting record peaks to finish the week off on Friday. Turning to the UK, the deadline for nominating candidates for the 12th of September general election came and went this week. And the main development being the Brexit Party stood down candidates that in seats that the Conservatives have won back in 2017. And then they went on later in the week to stand down in another 38 non-Tory held seats, which were marginal constituencies in which the Conservatives do have a chance of winning. So this has bolstered Boris Johnson's position, more likely that we could get now a majority government for the Conservative Party. And this has been reflected in the polls, with a 10% lead over Labour for the Conservatives at the moment, and in one more recent poll, up to a 13-point lead for the Tories. This has seen the pound push slightly higher, particularly against the euro, with EUR GBP moving to a new multi-month low at the end of last week. Elsewhere, we've had pro-democracy demonstrations going to new depths in here in Hong Kong, with significant violence between protesters and government and the authorities. This wobbled some of Asian markets and global stock markets earlier in the week, but overall, the impact on financial markets has been fairly muted. And then also in the US, going back to the US, we have President Trump's impeachment inquiry is ongoing. That's now moved into the public domain. And as yet, this has not really impacted significantly on financial markets. But we do still feel this is something that could happen going into the end of this year. Let's look ahead to this week. Well, the main macroeconomic focus this week is going to be on central banks. We have the Fed meeting minutes, the FOMC meeting minutes from their October meeting coming up on Wednesday. That's going to be the main focus for the week. But ahead of there, we have the RBA meeting minutes on Tuesday, and also the PBoC, the People's Bank of China interest rate decision earlier on Wednesday. On the data front, the data is extremely light through this week, and we have nothing of real note throughout the week on the economic data front until Friday, when we get Japanese CPI, German GDP, and then a whole host of global PMI data at the end of the week. This is Steve Miley, and I'm going to wish you all a great trading week.